All right, welcome back. So this is the first big update to the wagon. This update has a lot of amazing things in it that I'm glad to finally get all sorted out, including smoothing of the spine, removal of jitter, some fixing of normals, a bunch of other stuff in there too. So take a look. There's a lot of options, a lot of new updates in general. This video is going to cover how to update your model or your files to the newest version. This is generally they're going to be the same video for all updates. So if you're watching this in the future, this should still apply. If it's different, I'll either make a different guide or I will just make some small notes and some of the text information below this video. But let's get started with what are kind of requirements before you start to just import stuff. So in this example scene, I have just a slightly modified model in the very center of the screen here. The big thing I want to call out for this is do not have your materials applied with the base materials. And what I mean by that is in the default, so inside of Forepaw base pack, start here, default materials. There's a bunch of materials here that are named something and then default, so they're for the horns and the body and stuff. There's also example ones with like the Drake. So the Drake has material slots in here that are, or materials in here that are like body Drake and stuff like that. If all you've done is just open it up and start applying your textures to those materials, then those materials are there, they work, but as part of the update, they're about to be erased or overwritten. There's two options to this. You can either make a duplicate and work on a duplicate, which is what I recommend, or when you go to do the import process, you can very carefully exclude those from the updates. And then those files will not be updated. I will at least show you how to do both those in a minute here. But starting with copying, you just literally take the materials, you duplicate them, and then move them into own custom folder. So in my case, I added a folder called custom, put my textures in here, I put my materials in here, and these materials are actually applied to the body. So at this point, the file is ready for it at least has the materials separated. It's not ready for import yet though, because there's one more big step I want to do. In your scene, you'll find the base object file. This is the one that has the animator controller, the avatar descriptor, and a bunch of other stuff. It's like the top level object. You should then take this file and then duplicate it. So I'm going to do, well, I'll right click, duplicate, and you'll get two of them. You can name it whatever you'd like. I'm going to name mine backup. And on the backup, we're going to right click, we're going to prefab, unpack completely. In every other situation, I do not recommend ever clicking this button, but in this particular use case, it's actually very important. So now that prefab's completely unpacked, and when you update, this file will not get updated. So let's go ahead and pull in those files, and I'll show you how to avoid updating your materials. So we're going to take so I have some files here related to that. You'll be able to download these from the Jinxxy page. So you take the base pack Unity project and then you drag it into your scene, and it might take a little bit for it to actually import. Okay, so eventually it will give you this pop-up window here. So this is the window that'll let you select what gets imported and what gets overwritten and things like that. Anytime you see a double arrow symbol, that means it's going to be replacing that with a new file. You see new, it means it's a new file. Occasionally you'll see other symbols as well. The big things we want to look for is we want to find the materials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually minimize everything. I'm going to open it up slowly. So what I did there was I held Alt to be able to do that. So when you click on Alt, you can open up the whole thing or close the whole thing. And then when you open it up again, it's less information to look through. So let's look at the materials. These are going to be under Start Here, Examples, Default Materials, and also Drake materials. And in this case, it is trying to update a few of them, okay? And if you have made changes to the base materials, if you have not duplicated them, you should uncheck probably just the whole folder. So it would be like this whole folder for materials and this whole folder for materials. This also applies to the add-on packs as well. Just go to the same location, look for the materials, uncheck them. So I'm going to go ahead and import these so it overwrites them though. And then that'll be everything. So I'm actually going to click on all and then import. Okay. And when it's all done importing, you'll see a few things in your hierarchy and your scene have changed. In my case, I've gotten like pink materials and I got all kinds of stuff that's changed. That's because it's gone through and updated things. But despite all those changes, my original duplicate has been preserved. I still have all of the original setup on this one, and I have a bunch of broken through avatars that I need to fix now. So I'm going to show one more thing here. This is something you can get if you go to my Discord. I have a set of scripts that you can import. And I'll explain what these do. There, I'll show you both techniques. So I'm going to go ahead and import these. These go to their own folder. Okay, so that's all imported now. So let's go ahead and figure out how to re-get this configured. So what I would do is open up each of the hierarchies for the original one and the backup one. And you'll find that it'll kind of undo things that you've done on the packed one. Specifically, you'll see materials have been reset. There's some new things. There's some things that you thought you might have already deleted and they're back again. Some things actually stay the same. So like my muzzle, for example, has stayed the same. So there's various things that'll be different. So the first thing you want to do is probably apply your materials. So you should take your materials and just reapply them. You can drag them directly out in the scene, or you can click on the object and then go on to materials here and then drag them into there. That's one that I can't do that way. Here's one I can. So you'll drag these in like this. You could also, instead of doing it that way, find them in the hierarchy. So they're going to be under blue names. So I'm going to look for the extra ears, which would be here. Oh, sorry. Extra ears, mesh, body options, extra ears, and it's right here. I'm not going to drag it into there. So you can find it via whatever method you want. Some things like the eyes are sometimes difficult to actually land it if you're trying to drag it out in the scene. And then you should try and add or delete things that have been added. So for example, this automatically added the new horn ears, but I don't have textures for those on this character. So I'm going to go ahead and find those and delete them. And that'll kind of put this closer back to where it started. Eventually you will get all the materials applied and they'll look kind of similar. Now yours might look a little different because you probably have blend shapes applied to yours. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly drag a few blend shapes around. So like you might have various, various sliders adjusted. Okay. Try and find one that's more obvious. Okay. So those will still be there. But they won't be applied to the other character. Now, if you do not use the scripts, if you do not have the scripts or do not want to import them or whatever, then you'll have to do this manually. You'll have to click on your other model and then just manually drag every slider to match the original. But if you download the scripts, which once again will not be on the Jinxxy, they'll be on the Discord page in the verified channel, then you can right click here and click on copy blend shapes. And you can click over here and you can click on paste blend shapes by name. And that'll force that one to match the original. And that's basically all you'll need. So at this point, the character that's in blue text here has been fully updated and has all the correct materials, textures, and blend shapes. So I would not suggest deleting the backup. I would suggest hiding it. And then you can just keep working on this other one. Maybe you want to change some other things or add some more features or do something with it. But at this point, you're basically ready to upload and good to go. If you see other issues with the package or have any problems with it, let me know. Once again, via my Discord. That should get you going though. So once again, thank you so much for your support, and happy to see people getting these things out there and running around. All right, goodbye for now.